Good afternoon. This session is on how early should children start learning about their country. And we have an eminent panel. We have two academicians, three including myself, Professor Siv Vishwanathan, well-known sociologist from Jindal University, Mrs. Lata from Mumbai. She works among children especially. And we have a banker, author, historian, my friend, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal. About 10 years back, Coimbatore-based International Forum for Indian Heritage conducted a study among school children. School children studying a 9th standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard. It was a very big study. For the first time, the study was conducted among children. It was conducted in 278 schools across the country in 21 states. Questions were asked about their views on education system, and they were asked to give their opinions, their views, suggestions also. In fact, one of the suggestions that came about very frequently was this: we get to learn only about other countries but not about India. This was the students' views conducted in 21 states, and I think this sums up the need for the session. We all know that as far as the school curriculum, college curriculum is concerned, this Indian orientation is missing to a very large extent. India's history, functioning systems, achievements, limitations, failures, they are not properly discussed. There is a large-scale Western colonial orientation even today, as our friend from Cambridge University was pointing out. As a result, students are unaware of, one, the history, second, the functioning realities today. With the result, we are not producing students with proper understanding of our own country. And as a result, they are not able to contribute to the extent that they are expected. You know, India is an ancient nation. We have a very long history with pioneering achievements in different fields, whether it is science, mathematics, technology, town planning, even economics. But we don't teach this. You know, I am teaching in a management institute. Some of us, we are experimenting with these India-centric studies for the last 15, 20 years. Even at the postgraduate level, the management students, if you ask them, most of them would say still, India is an agricultural country. Whereas service sector contributes more than 62% to the Indian economy, agricultural sector contributes only 14%, but this is how they perceive India. This is the biggest problem. And we are teaching failed theories even today. I often give this example. In 1997, Nobel Prize was given to economics for a theory called Black-Scholes theory. And the authors of that theory, for the first time, they wanted to practice their theory so that they thought they would make more money. So they resigned their jobs. Two professors, they resigned their jobs. They joined a company already promoted by economists and professors called LTCM, Long-Term Capital Management. So they joined that company as full-time advisors. There was huge expectation in the financial market because for the first time, a company was promoted by economists, professors, and two Nobel laureates are joining that company as full-time advisors to practice their own theory. You know, 1998, first year results came. The company incurred several times of initial capital, losses worth several times of initial capital. In fact, the company went bankrupt. Wall Street, Dow Jones Index declined. You know, these two professors immediately, they thought, you know, it will not be possible for us to practice our theory. They went back to teaching. One of them is still teaching today. But their theory is being taught even today in India in all the management schools. And this is how we teach the theories. And we do not teach the practical realities. Some of us who are involved in this India-centric work, especially in economic, business, management aspects, we know that the functioning of India is something different. If you take the last 60, 68 years, India has been growing in spite of confusions, contradictions at the policy making level, at the macro policy making level, whether it was socialism or this free market policy. India has been continuously moving forward. So there is an Indian orientation here. We all believed till 2008 there was only universal models, because that is how we were taught. But now the Americans say there is no universal model. Now we understand that yes, there could be Indian model. But there are Indian models, whether it is economic models, social models, business models, management models, and we refuse to study. So we refuse to study the functioning realities, present realities, and even history. We don't study economic history. It's only the Westerners who come up and say, this is how your background was. And Angus Maddison from OECD, it was he who said, India remained as the topmost GDP nation, most prosperous nation, for about 80% of the time in the last 2000 years, because we don't give attention to it. And this is how we were taught. So this is the biggest problem for us. So it is important that we have to study India from the proper perspective. How early we have to start? There are different opinions. Experts say as early as possible, even at the preschool level, maybe even at preschool level. Maybe from 4th standard, some of the experts feel that, the study should be included. But not as studies in the form of stories, in the form of experiences. More more portion should be for the local history, local geography, because we don't discuss anything locally. If you go to school, they discuss about South American history, but not about Tamil history or Chennai history or Coimbatore history. It is not there. So these kinds of problems are there, but there are some initiatives that are being taken up. In Chennai, for example, I know there is an initiative for moral and cultural education. They have started this exercise and they have already expanded it to about 200, 300 schools. And in the first study that I mentioned, when students were asked to give their opinions, students themselves say, we want to know more about India, more about Indian heritage, Indian systems. So it is students who want it, and it is our duty to give more Indian-oriented kind of curriculum to them. So with this introduction, I invite Professor Shiv Viswanathan, senior most among all of us, to first give his views. Thank you very much.